I see sirens in my rearview mirror, I did the right thing, pulled over, and, next time I know there's like 3-4 cars surrounding my vehicle.
On the morning of November 9th, 2017, Jesus Segura from Sacramento, California, thought he was being pulled over for a routine traffic stop.
And they said I had a warrant, but they really didn't show me anything. They just pulled up a paper, they didn't let me see it or read it or anything. And after that, they just transferred me to a van, and that's when they tell me that there were eyes and what was going on, and I was being detained by immigration.
Jesus had been arrested by undercover immigration and custom enforcement officers. He was taken to this ICE detention facility where he was held for over 4 months. Since President Trump took office in 2017, there have been an increasing number of ICE arrests like Jesus's. The Pew Research Center estimates that as much as 42% more arrests than under the Obama administration. And once in ICE detention, undocumented immigrants face an uphill battle, and they do so without a guaranteed right to a lawyer.
Many people are extremely surprised when they start digging into the workings of the immigration courts. They don't realize that they are civil courts as opposed to criminal courts. What that means is people don't have a guaranteed right to counsel, and we are not, and the fact that we don't have a guaranteed right to counsel is very surprising when you realize that the rights at stake for people are so important. Some people have called these death penalty cases taking place in a traffic court setting.
86% of all detained immigrants face deportation hearings without a lawyer. And this can make a huge difference because immigrants with lawyers are 4 times more likely to be released from detention and twice as likely to receive immigration relief, like asylum.
So that can delay proceedings tremendously when someone doesn't have a lawyer because they're held to the same standards as if they did. And yet, there always is an attorney representing the government trying to show that this person has violated some portion of the immigration laws.
But Jesus was one of the lucky ones. He got a lawyer.
We're going to be pursuing a suppression hearing where we're going to argue that his case should be terminated because the way that ICE arrested him violated the Constitution. Citizens and non-citizens alike have Fourth Amendment rights, and those Fourth Amendment rights include the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures.
Jesus has been released on bond and is awaiting trial. But there is one big factor that could jeopardize his case, even with legal counsel by his side. Jesus has a criminal record, 2 charges of domestic battery. The charges were filed by former partners in 2008 and again in 2017.
Just like everybody, everybody does mistakes, I'm just taking my rehabilitation classes or courses, made those 2 mistakes, I'm like, shame of them, I did what I had to do, and they were misdemeanors, Like I was telling them, just imagine it was like the same for U.S. people, or you're doing misdemeanors, they consider you a threat to the community.
Jessica Farb of the Immigration Center for Women and Children says that in the immigrant community, many domestic abuse victims are reluctant to report their abuse.
So even when the abuser is not undocumented, one other reason that it may be difficult for someone to report would be that if that spouse is the sole breadwinner in the family. But then you take it to a higher level when the abuser is undocumented. Not only might they be arrested and in jail with the criminal defense system, but they might then be deported or sent over to ICE and in jail under a whole other system. So once you bring the undocumented in there for the abuser, then there might be even more of a fear and more of a reticence of the victim to report, because that's going to later have an impact on her and her family and her children if she has.
Jesus' lawyer knew about these charges before he represented him, but took on the case anyway.
Jesus, was resolved both of these cases as misdemeanors. The judge did not find him to be a danger, did not subject him to any jail time. He went to rehabilitation courses, right? And since then has been a loving father and a loving partner. And despite all this, right, the immigration judge suddenly gets to make a determination based on things that happened so long ago and say that this person forever is going to be deemed a criminal. That's unfair, that's unjust.
When making a decision, immigration judges have to take all of a defendant's criminal history into account, which can range from traffic violations to felony charges. As of 2015, 59% of all immigrants deported had a criminal conviction.
Do we want to spend money within our system to rehabilitate, either through counseling or through our criminal justice system of prison? And do we think that even works? And also, who deserves to be here? So if there are, I don't know, however many millions of immigrants, does that person deserve it more than the other? Does everyone deserve to be here regardless of criminal acts that you may have taken in the past? So I can't really say that. I mean, that's up to us as a society to decide.
Trying to help people.
For now, Jesus is still awaiting trial. And in the meantime, he's been working with a group of Berkeley law students to set up a bail bond for other immigrants like him who find themselves up against the complex immigration system.
Hey, can you send that picture to me?
But how the system will play out for Jesus is still unclear.